Hey guys, so in place of a lesson, I'm just going to be going over your creative writing final portfolio. Um, it looks like we're nearing the end of our class, and I want to make sure that we're all up to speed with some things. If you haven't emailed me with your specific conference date, please do so. I know that things are changing really fast, and we'll have to adjust rather rapidly because of this pandemic. But please email me and confirm the appointment that you have with me. I need to get those in by Tuesday at 2 p.m. Because it's the only way I'll be able to read through everyone's work and be able to give adequate feedback. Our conferences will run for about 15 to 20 minutes, so I really want to be prepared and have some great things to say about your work and be really helpful. So if you could help me and get those in, that'd be incredibly helpful. Yeah, it seems like once we get to the end of our final fiction assignment, you will just be working with your portfolio pieces, which will be turned in alongside the book review. This is all up on Learn, by the way. I just made it viewable for you guys, so you could take a look, copy paste that link, and you'll be able to find the final portfolio here. So, something you got to be aware of with your final portfolio, or before I even talk about that, just know that this week is different. I'm just going to be going over the final portfolio and the book review. Writing exercises will still be due, so take a look at that. And that's all published on week 14 of Learn. Okay. But for your creative writing final portfolio, it's going to be due May 12th at 10 a.m. No late portfolios will be accepted. Okay, so this is worth 33% of your total course grades. So be aware, if you don't turn this in, I can't pass you, unfortunately. And I'm really dead set on the specific deadline because we do have to turn in grades by the 15th, I believe. So I don't really have exactly that much time to grade and then give you guys your grades and stuff and turn them all in, right? It's a very short window for me, so this is the date that we do have to turn everything in. I did mention before that as far as other assignments, they're incredibly flexible. You don't have to really worry about due dates, but this one is very, very serious. We need to turn this one here at this time. So everything needs to be turned in by May 12th, regardless. And if you are turning in your final fiction assignment, late, just know that I won't be able to give you as great of feedback as I would, someone else. Someone else that turned in much earlier in. So your creative writing final portfolio is composed of three components. It's going to be a reflective cover letter. You're going to include a paper of small revisions of one of your pieces, to all of your pieces, I'm sorry. You know what? No, we're going to change this to one of your pieces. I don't want to bombard you guys with too much work. So you're going to do small revisions to one of your pieces, okay? You're going to highlight all significant changes, new material, and then I'm going to require you to do major revision of one project where the genre is changed, okay? And I'll explain a little bit about that. So all your creative work has to be in 12-point Times New Roman, double-spaced. Exception is like poetry. You can do whatever you want. Poetry is a little bit more fanciful in that way. Include all of these different components of your final portfolio in one document. It makes it much easier for me to read. And turn it in as a docx, a PDF. Do not submit a text submission thing through Learn. It makes it incredibly hard for me to grade, and it's really, I don't think that's possible with your final portfolio. So yeah, please docx PDF. So I have the grading requirements here. Your part one of the cover letter, the length should be 500 or 750 words. It should be double spaced. So the requirements for this, you're going to have an introduction that identifies your strengths and weaknesses as a writer, and specific ways that you've grown through the course of the semester and how you further develop your writing. A section that outlines the changes you've made to your original drafts and what craft elements you use to make to those changes, if any. And then for the major revision, you should discuss the change of genre for the work and how did you change it. what worked and what presented specific challenges. For part 2 of this, you're going to have the small revisions. So length varies, but at least 400 plus words added or changed. And if you're working with poetry, it's 16 lines. Add 16 lines of poetry or change 16 lines of poetry. So I'm requiring you to take only one project. I don't want you to do more. That you've worked on for the semester, so nonfiction, fiction, or poetry. And then I want you to write line edits for your specific piece. So every line, word, or phrase that is corrected or changed, I want you to highlight. So the below example is from George Orwell's 1984. For sake of pretending, we're saying that this paragraph, it wasn't like a first draft or whatever. So this first part, this is in his original draft, and the second draft, this is the part that's added, and he ended up highlighting to show his changes. So that's really how I want you guys to conduct your part 2. This is going to be the easiest one out of all of the parts, okay? Part 3 is your major revision, so that's 5 to 10 pages of prose or 5 to 7 poems. So you're going to revise one of the 3 major projects that you've worked on this semester. And you're going to rewrite it into an entirely different genres. So you're going to go from fiction to poetry, from nonfiction to poetry, from poetry to fiction, from fiction to nonfiction, if you could possibly pull that off, right? So you're going to do something like that, all right? The purpose of the portfolio is not only to showcase your best writing, but to demonstrate how you understand how to revise your own creative work, and that you understand the way that 3 different genres we've studied kind of work together, right? You should always be able to reuse and recycle the work that you've compiled, whether that's turning into fiction, whether that's turning into poetry, whether that's nonfiction. One thing is that if you've been writing mostly fiction this semester, I want you to reimagine your fiction as either poetry or nonfiction. It might sound a little confusing and weird turning fiction to nonfiction, but this is where your ability to reimagine and reinvent really comes in. And where you could demonstrate your craft. So really I'm giving you guys free reins, but the only kind of requirement that I have for this is that you do change from one genre to the other genre completely. Excuse me, I'm really, really sick today. If you turn in a revision piece, then more than 50% of the same material you turn in for an original piece, you will not receive a favorable grade. Don't be lazy. Really, this final portfolio, I really want you guys to showcase your best work. This is the rubric for the assignment. I do need to change how the points are working out because it is out of 75. This is for my last class where we did a little bit more. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me. If you haven't sent me an email to confirm the specific dates of your conference for this week, please let me know. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. If anything else comes up, I will email you. Bye-bye.